Hi, Kubrick Lover 1972. I think we're up to 25 in the series. This is my entire DVD and Blu-ray collection. On this particular video, we're going to look at some action movies, two particular franchises. The first is um Spielberg's and Lucas's joint collaboration. So you can probably guess what that would be. And that's the Indiana Jones Adventures of Indiana Jones. Um, I really enjoy these movies. I don't have the fourth one. I think the fourth one is basically awful. Maybe if all these Spielberg movies I've ever seen, probably Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull might be the worst I've ever seen. And I hear they're doing a fifth. Maybe it's because they can make a lot of money off of it. I have no idea. But in any case, but I do like the first three. Here's the first one: Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Um, this particular movie, I have watched parts of it on. I before I owned lots of movies, even on videotape. I would tape movies off of television, and back in those days, they would. I don't think they do it anymore. I don't have cable presently, but back in those days, they would show movies on television, like back in the late '80s or mid '80s. They would show movies on television. You know, network television. I'm talking about, not cable, but not like cable channels, but channels like ABC, NBC, CBS. They would show these some of these types of movies. So, anyways, I would watch this movie. Some films I like to watch certain sections of. Like I mentioned, Moonraker. I don't like all of Moonraker. I like the starting. I like the cable car sequence, and I like almost a little more than the last quarter of the film, which I think takes it to another stratosphere or what have you. In the case of Raiders of the Lost Ark, and that's what it was called before it's called Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. The original title is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Um, in subsequent editions or printings or what have you of Indiana Jones series, they added the Indiana Jones. But if you watch the actual movie itself, it just says Raiders of the Lost Ark. But I've watched parts of this movie several times on video cassette. Then I had it on video cassette, and then this came out on DVD at a certain point, and I bought the three of them. Um, anyways, I'm sure everybody is aware of this movie, but I would watch the starting. I would watch the scene where the Ark is on a truck with the Nazis, and he jumps onto the truck from a horse. Um, what was the other scene I watched? Oh, the scene before that, where they're trying to put the Ark on a plane, and he's fighting with this big muscular guy and this Nazi who's on the plane, and then his love interest Marion, she gets caught in the cockpit of the plane, and they manage to get out of that circumstance. Um, and the ending of it's pretty interesting too. Um, but for me, this and Terminator 2 are two of the greatest action movies ever made ever, I think. So this is a really enjoyable movie. Also, Spielberg I've noticed, and I think David Lynch is another, and maybe Quentin Tarantino is a third, who do not do commentaries on their movies. I don't know if that's the case with David Lean or not. I'm not quite sure, but I know Spielberg, Lynch, and Tarantino. I don't think any of them do commentaries on their movies. I don't think I've ever seen a commentary on them. So, anyways, that's Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I could talk about what this is about, but basically, it's about the Nazis. They're looking to find the Ark of the Covenant that Moses carried, and Indiana Jones finds out about this through some people that work for the U.S. government, and he's going to go out there and try to find the Ark before the Nazis and make sure they don't grab hold of it, basically. So that's the plot of that movie. The second movie that they made after that one, a few years later, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. This stars Kate Capshaw as his love interest. She would become Steven Spielberg's second wife, and I believe they're still married. Spielberg said that he thought this was the worst film of all the films he's made. I think it's a pretty enjoyable movie. I like the starting a lot. Yeah, it's pretty enjoyable. Maybe it sort of slows down a little bit too much before action picks up again later on in the movie. Where they're at this. I don't know if sultan is the right word. This princess, this young boy's. I think he's like a prince or something. That sort of slows down the movie maybe a little bit, but but this is not a bad movie, enjoyable. And then next we have the third in the series with Sean Connery, called Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade. It would restart. It would also bring back. I think John Rhys Davies was in this. Yes, he was. And Denholm Elliott. They both came back. Denholm Elliott, I think, in Raiders of the Lost Ark, he was minimally used. But in this one, I think he's more active in the movie. And John Rhys Davies, who was, I think the character's name is Sala in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Anyways, so they all those two guys make a reappearance in this movie, and then it stars Sean Connery as Indiana Jones' father. When I first saw this at the theater, I wasn't too wild about it, and it seemed there seems to be this thing with Return of the Jedi in this movie where we go back to where we were before. And what I mean by that is that in the case of Star Wars, A New Hope, you have the Death Star. Return of the Jedi, you have the building of a new Death Star. And in the case of Indiana Jones, you have the Nazis in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then The Last Crusade, you have the Nazis again. But it's still... I don't know if I like in the starting of this movie that where Indiana Jones is saying to these excavators or people that are taking something from a cave, he says it belongs in a museum. I find that kind of corny. I don't know. But for the most part, I don't think this is a bad movie. I really enjoy it. I've changed my opinion after a while, and it's not a bad movie at all. So I think this is a pretty good box set to buy. If you're thinking of buying the box set with the Crystal Skull, which also is around, that's really a waste of money in my opinion, because it is a pretty bad movie in my opinion, unless you want to know about how the special effects were done for that film. But even the special effects look kind of cheesy in that movie. They look pretty bad. Some of it looks like a video game. I mean, it looks awful. The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And so, yeah, I'm glad I don't have that edition. It's the same thing with Toy Story 2 as well. I like 1 and 2, but 3, I only like the starting of 3. And you can see my video on that. It's with the Fantasia video, a few videos back. And then you get in addition to those films, you get the bonus materials with Lucas and Spielberg right there. But anyways, they wanted to make Spielberg wanted to make a James Bond movie, and since maybe they couldn't make a James Bond, so they decided to make something like it, and this is how they made that film. Indiana Jones was the name of Lucas's dog, I believe. So that's how they came up with the name Indiana Jones. So they're just fun, they're a lot of fun. The bonus disc features a feature-length documentary and the making of the trilogy, the stunts of Indiana Jones, and the stunts, by the way, some of the stunts are done by a guy named Vic Armstrong, a British stuntman, and he did a bunch of stunts for James Bond movies as well, and he's done stunts for other movies too. Sound of Indiana Jones, Music of Indiana Jones, of course, by John Williams. The Light and Magic of Indiana Jones, it's a special effects, I believe. Industrial Light and Magic, which is the company that George Lucas founded when he made Star Wars. He created this special company that worked on the visual effects of Star Wars, and from that point they started making not just Star Wars movies, but they made films for other other films. They made special effects for other films, and they've done tons. So after Star Wars, tons of movies. And also Lucas at around the same time here, a little after, maybe a few years later, he founded another company called Skywalker Sound, and that specialized, of course, in sound. And he was a key element, I believe, in founding Pixar as well, which was also crucial because of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs helped that happen. And other people like Ed Catmull, I believe, was a big component in making Pixar come to life. But Pixar, according to a book I read about Pixar, they took them a while to reach the level of technical expertise that they have now, because they were, trying to make the computer animation look more realistic, and that took many years to develop the technology. Maybe it took them from like the late 60s or early 70s, but it was quite a while. So, and like one of the first films they made some headway on would be like Andre and Wally B. and Tin Toy, which were two shorts, which showed like that they were making some headway in the realm of computer animation. So next up, we have another series of action movies, another franchise. It's a Die Hard franchise. I believe, if you know, how many are in the franchise. I believe there are 5 total. I have 4, so I don't know if I have. Well, I definitely have the first 3 here, but I don't know if I have the 4th or the 5th after this one. At any rate, so obviously you get the first Die Hard, and it looks like this is loaded with special features. I think. Well, I have seen the first one. I saw the other one. It's at some other place, but I really wasn't focusing too much on it at the time. Not because I didn't want to, but I was involved with an activity of shoot. I was at this place, and they were playing in the background, and I was helping at a public access shooting. But anyway, public access is a cable thing, like shooting some material for the channel, for public access. So Die Hard was playing in the background, but I didn't really focus on it at the time. But it was one of the sequels, and I don't know which one. I think it was the second one. But this is a commentary by director John McTiernan and production designer Jackson DeGovia. It's got a scene-specific commentary by special effects supervisor Richard Edlund, who, of course, worked at ILM. One of them being, I believe, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and subtitle commentary by various cast and crew. Branching version with the extended power shutdown scene cut back in. It's got CD, DVD, ROM. It's got disc 2. It's got 2 extended scenes: airplane sequence and power shutdown scene, cutting room, re-edit and remix your favorite scenes, deleted lines and sequences, reel, gag reel, newscasts, interactive articles from American Cinematographer and Cinefex magazines, full-length screenplay, still gallery, trailers, and TV spots. So, anyways, that's the first one. And then you have the second, Die Hard 2, Die Harder. I don't really know what this movie's about. It's got a commentary by director Rennie Harlan. This too is Die Harder than Making a Die Hard 2 documentary, making a featurette, villains profile featurette, 4 deleted scenes, interview with Rennie Harlan, behind the scenes vignettes, storyboard sequence, visual effects breakdown, trailers, and TV spots. So at some point I'll be watching this. As I said, I've been showing you my entire collection, so it's going to take a while to get through all these things. And then I have other obligations, like films I borrow from other people, films I watch on streaming, films I borrow from the library, films I see in the theater. And then my everyday life, I've got to attend to that as well. Anyways, the third in the series is this film called Die Hard with a Vengeance. Jeremy Irons, Samuel L. Jackson. I believe this is set in New York City. Commentary by director John McTiernan. It's got a disc 2 alternate ending, behind the scenes, Die Hard with a Vengeance TV special, A Night to Die For, McLean is Back TV special, making a featurette, behind the scenes vignettes, storyboard sequence, Bruce Willis interview, special effects breakdowns, and a trailer and TV spots. So that should be pretty interesting. And then the last one in the franchise. Well, not the last one. I don't know. I don't know if this one is set in the Soviet Union or not. Because I believe, U.S. infrastructure. I think this is the fourth one. I'm pretty sure. If you know, just say down there. It's Live Free or Die Hard, and this is unrated. So this, I think, is the fourth one. I got this I think I got all of these Die Hards pretty cheap. Like this one says $3. So, but this is unrated, an original theatrical version of Live Free or Die Hard. Audio commentary by Bruce Willis, director Len Wiseman, and editor Nicholas DeToth. Music video Die Hard performed by Guys Night. And behind the scenes of the Guys Night featurette. So maybe not as loaded, but it should be a lot of fun, I suppose. So that does it for this video. It wasn't going to be long. I think the next video we're going to get to is Harold Lloyd. That won't be long at all. And then we'll probably go to the Warner Brothers Gangsters. And after that, let's see, we got some Coppola. Of course, I've been saying this to you about. I'll just keep you informed as we're going along. We got some Coppola. We got the Twilight Zone box set. We've got Samuel Fuller's movies. We got I'm looking over there at the bookcase. Rome television series, seasons 1 and 2. We got the Alejandro Jodorowsky box set. We've got the Sin City box set, and we've got two of the greatest films, in my opinion, of the 21st century. So that's what's up with that. And we're going to also cover, I also had some spillover of DVDs on top of the bookcase that are propped up against the wall, and we'll get to those as well. So at any rate, that's the video, and I'm really thank you all for watching these videos and putting more hits on them, and be sure to watch my videos, watch my garage band videos, watch my poetry, my short film storyboard that I made, Cost of Love #3, my digital filmmaking class video that I shot called Dirty Dog, which is, we had to do If Dogs Could Talk, so I thought maybe dogs could sing, and I did it to Dirty Dog by ZZ Top. So any rate, that's the video, and thanks for watching. I'll be back soon. Thanks.